Oh boy, guys, I know you guys are so excited to hear more about the In Praise of Shadow drama, but honestly, I'm not going to do that. I think people have said enough. There are some things that I think are I disagree with. There are some things that I feel like are taken out of context. However, I think a lot of the stuff has already been said, so I want to talk about something that's more important, right? Which is another part of his video, which is his complaint that people did not like his Hills Have Eyes analysis. And I did agree with his position that I feel like people really need to actually look at the stuff that they're complaining about, right? Actually take a look at what is being said by the person, not from what you hear about the person or, what you've heard through the grapevines. Actually hear what the person has said and come to your own conclusion whether or not it was good or bad. I don't think he actually agrees with his own position. I think he only says that because he's really annoyed that people are getting, a false perception of him from like Reddit or whatever. But regardless of if he actually believes this or not, I believe in it, right? I actually do think this is very important for the quality of discourse that we're going to get from the future. And this is because this actually happened to me, right? I did not like how people were talking about Ava from Borderlands 3. I thought she was a very dumb character, and how people were talking about her, it seemed like the game was really in her favor. Now, after playing it, obviously, my opinion changed a bit, because the scene where she's yelling at Lilith, right? I did not get the sense that the game was encouraging or on her side about that. I thought the game was making a very clear statement that this is a child who is very emotionally stable, who did something that basically got someone she loved killed, and that she was lashing out, and the people and the adults in the room, like Lilith and Tannis, understood that this is just an emotional outburst. Now, of course, my opinion didn't change that much because the game proceeded to make this 13-year-old girl the leader of the fucking Crimson Raiders. I don't know why you would make a emotionally unstable 13-year-old girl the leader of a large organization with multiple people, especially when you have quality trained adults like Brick and Mordecai. Okay, maybe not Brick, but Mordecai, right? There are more people that are qualified to be there. But my point still stands. My opinion changed a little bit after I played Borderlands 3 without the interpretation of other people, right? So let's actually look at his video, because honestly, I think it's still bad. Honestly, I think that he does something that a lot of artists online do, a lot of people who analyze art, which is they put the intention of the artist over the actual artwork itself, which I think led to a lot of his bad analysis.
It is a common theme that can be found all across Craven's filmography, and is something that he puts special attention to. Freddy Krueger having a dirty brown hat says as much about him as it does that Casey Becker has blonde hair and a white sweater.
Does it really? What is he trying to say with Freddy's brown hat? What is he trying to say? The assertion is made but never explained. Great. Okay, cool. Is he trying to say that Freddy is a shithead because he has a brown hat? Maybe he's trying to say Freddy's a fascist. He has a brown hat, brown shirt. Same thing. What is he trying to say, buddy? I don't know. I'm too dumb.
The Hill people, in reflection of that, are dressed in an almost stereotypical parody of how Native Americans are often presented in older westerns, mixed with a caricature of the classic idea of the inbred redneck hillbilly.
I'm going to be honest here. Do they actually look like that? I don't think so. I don't think they look like what you would call a Native American. It looks more like they raided a fucking party city and stole whatever they could out of there. They look like they might steal me for all the caps I'm worth, okay? They might pull up and say, hey, courier, give me all you got. I'm not playing around. That's what they look like. They don't look like Native Americans to me. They don't really look like that to me. I don't know where you're getting your information from.
They are an economic invading force. What is both home and hardship to one is a curiosity to pose in front of and take pictures to a group of others from a wealthier background.
Okay, so this is really where his inability to let the movie speak for itself really comes through. Because he's trying to say that the rich family is here to basically laugh and look at and be in awe of the cannibal family. This is completely incorrect if you actually watch the movie. The family did not want to be there at all. It's only the father, because he is so, I guess, unable to accept the fact that he got lost, that they're in this situation in the first place. That is the only reason. They're not there to basically antagonize the cannibals. They don't even know the cannibals exist for a majority of the situation. They're just kind of surviving. They think, honestly, that there are just like friendly people back here, right? They're not here to really cause any problems or troubles. They really just want to get the hell out. The daughter even especially states, I don't want to be here. I want to be in California, because that's where they're trying to go. They're leaving the hellscape of New York City for the hellscape of California.
And psychologically, most when they watch this will be on the side of the vacationing family and wish for them to survive and make it out and get back home. And why is that? Because if you look at this from the perspective of the hill people, they are only defending what is theirs, this land that they call home.
Honestly, this is kind of strange coming from the socialists who, would rather you die than kill a criminal stealing your stuff. But I guess that's just the case, right? But that position aside, there is no way that you can sit there and really consider the cannibal family not to be in the wrong. They are not just defending their home. They are actively hunting down the Carter family. The Carter family did not do anything to really deserve this kind of violence that's put against them. They were not given warnings. They were not given any kind of preemptive statement saying, if you do not leave, we will inflict harm against you. They were simply just hunted down by the cannibal family. And also, it's not even like the cannibal family do not have their own problems in the first place. The movie starts with the granddaughter of the father figure, right? That owns the kind of rundown gas station. It starts with them having a conversation, and the granddaughter says, "Papa Jupiter will kill you if he knows that you're trying to leave." Already, it's showing that the cannibal family is very quick to go to violence, which I want you guys to keep this in mind, because this goes completely against another statement he's going to say later on.
They are representative of everything wrong in America. Everything that keeps the hill people from being able to grow and be financially stable.
Like, what am I supposed to say to this? Like, no, the reason that the cannibals or the hillbillies are not able to advance financially is just because that they decided, instead of going out and try to integrate with the city people, that they're going to murder everyone around them and eat them for flesh. I don't know if that's a cultural difference, but I just think maybe if you want to get along with your fellow Americans, you shouldn't want to kill them and eat their pets. I'm just saying, you can eat them too, apparently, according to the cannibal laws that are dictated in this fucking barren wasteland.
And in a way, the film asks if these people are wrong for killing their invaders. Is it wrong to eat the people who have been eating you and your ancestors for decades and even centuries? Consuming everything that you and your people have ever made without creating anything of substantial value themselves. The phrase isn't kill the rich, it isn't hang the rich, it's eat the rich, and was done that way with intention.
Okay, and this is really where you can kind of see where he is losing the plot and really inserting his own messaging over the movie's premise or plot, right? The hill people do not create anything at all. They are violent cannibals through and through. One of the main points is that the owner of the gas station mentions that his son was a deranged monster from birth. We know this because, first of all, he killed a bunch of animals around the house, bit the heads off of chickens, but then he also burned down the house with his own sister in it. He killed his own sister. The dude is psychotic. The movie never asks whether or not the hillbillies are right or wrong. The movie makes it very clear that the hillbillies are murderous psychopaths. They kill people. They are not correct in this conflict. They are the aggressors. They are the people who are causing the problems for no reason.
There is a tangible fury here, a pure, unadulterated need for blood, and through that, vengeance. Vengeance at their situation and the systems in place that have forced them into this. In a way, are they not justified for their actions?
No, they're not fucking justified for their actions. What systems are in play? The system that made him kill his own fucking sister? The system that made him kill his own dad? What systems are in play here? All of this is self-inflicted, which is the point that you are missing. The movie never says what systems are causing this problem to happen in the first place. In fact, majority of the problems of that region just happen to be in the fact that this area is just dying. This is just a dead area. Yes, there's military testing happening here, but a majority of people have left because, as it turns out, any sensible human being can just pick their stuff up and just move somewhere else. But as it turns out, they're not sensible human beings, they're insane psychopaths.
The hill people can be representative of anything that you want them to be, really. They can be Native Americans, and the hills themselves can be allegorical of them being forced back onto reservations. They can be Black Americans that have for hundreds of years been forced to live within a dehumanizing system that has balances in place that assure that they never get ahead. They can be anyone who has been a victim of hundreds of years of horrifically violent, white, wealthy, educated progress.
This is the point that I said to keep in mind before. This is why I said keep it in mind. Because remember, the whole movie has been that this family has just kind of ended up at this location, and they are being hunted by cannibals. So if you're going to assume that the hill people are allegorical of the natives, or even black people, right? Then what you are actually saying is that native and black people are violent people who will immediately murder you if you so happen to come onto their land. Do you really think that's the message that the movie is trying to say, right? And this is what I mean by so many artists out there, so many people who try to analyze art. What they do is they analyze the artist, not the art, the artist. And they try to inflict the meaning of the artist onto the art. But here's the reality. For good art to exist, the artist must die. The artist cannot be involved in the intention of the art piece. The art piece must be allowed to exist with its own intentions. And unfortunately, if you're a bad artist, right, the art piece's intentions might be completely different than what you had in mind. And this is why a lot of his statements about this movie are just really weird and honestly very far-reaching, just because instead of actually looking at the movie and the plot and actually trying to analyze, okay, you have this family that just kind of ends up here. Then you have a bunch of cannibals that come and kill them, and do a lot of horrible things around them. Instead of looking at that, he's looking at the messages that he thinks that Wes Craven would want to put into this movie, right? And honestly, I'm just going to leave some of his unedited rantings in the end of this video just so you can understand how far this guy's mind has just drifted off into not actually looking at the movie and the plot and trying to see, hey, does my theory fit into this plot structure that has been laid out by the movie? And rather he's going, oh, well, Wes Craven was a leftist, so therefore he must be for all of these things. Now, if I were to give my 2 cents on what I think that the movie is trying to say, I would say the movie is really just kind of playing on this idea of the hostile countryside, right? And the fear of being lost. And then, of course, there's this idea that, the people that you meet are not going to be, normal people, right? I think where he did get it right is with the inbred country or the hillbilly comment. I really do think that this movie, if you were to look at it as like an artsy-fartsy film, right? I'm not the person to do that, but if we were to give it that analysis, I think you could actually say that the movie is talking about the view of particularly people who live in the city on those who don't, right? But that's just my opinion about it. I don't think I'm necessarily right, though. I do think that my interpretation has a lot more support from the actual movie itself than, say, In the Praise of Shadows. And if you actually watch this, Zane, I really do think that you need to let the movie speak for itself. Stop bringing in the director as proof to what you are saying is right. The director, even though they are the ones who made the film, they don't have the final say in what the art actually means. But that being said, I think your analysis of the movie itself and the director's backstory and how the movie is created, I think all of that is really good. I think you have a knack for explaining just the kind of ideas that went behind the filmmaking. I just think your interpretation of the film is too clouded by that particular analysis. I think you really do need to let the film breathe on its own. Well, that being said, dude, I really do hope that you find whatever you're looking for. I hope you find the peace, even though I know that this video is going to be horrible for you. But that being said, if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I don't even know. Anyway, I'm going to let the other clips play through in the background. If you guys want to watch the rest of it, feel free.
A common theme between these films is that of meat, or the consumption of people. Economic domination requires the consumption of the flesh and lifeblood of another. The complete desolation and destruction of one group for the greed-based prosperity of yourself and others like you. Stripping away the flesh of anything resembling joy or humanity and eating it in the name of profit. Cannibalism as a theme both in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes is a subversion and commentary on how historically rural country Americans are constantly crushed under the turning wheels of industry and drained of everything that they have so that the goods that they produce can be purchased at a fraction of their value and shipped off to larger, wealthier areas, leaving those rural stretches of land as husks that never grow or prosper out of these conditions, only making by with what little they have. In these films, those seen as rural hicks are rising up and eating the flesh of their symbolic masters, consuming them just as they themselves have been consumed. It is no coincidence that the father and the patriarch of the family, who is wanting to keep things as they traditionally are, is a retired cop, a symbolic and historic symbol of oppression that upkeeps wealth disparities by protecting those that perpetrated wealth crimes against the poor. He has a large dog that he travels with, and the film ends with one of the rednecks being gored to death by a dog ripping open his neck. And not only that, but he is a wealthy cop. His kids go to nice universities that they broadcast on their clothes. They all present with style and can afford to take vacations across the country. And I also do not think that it is a coincidence that their last name is Carter, and share that name with a family of famous American folk singers, who started the genre of popular country music as we know it today. A family whose origins were in poverty but ascended from that into wealth by using the backbone of rural American aesthetics, values, and culture. Father Jupiter and his family are filled with murderous rage, but why shouldn't they be? Do you see the surroundings that they are forced to put up with? At one point he says to the father, Bob Carter, "Your dog made sport of my blood, you pig. I'm gonna kill your kids for that. You come out here and stick your life in my face, stick your fingers in my pie. That was a bad mistake. I thought you were smart and tough. You're stupid. You're nothing. I'm gonna watch your goddamn car rust out. Yes, I will. I'll see the wind blow your dried up seeds away. I'll eat the heart of your stinking memory."